Here we are again, waking up on another frosty Ozark morning. We made some coffee, packed up our still mostly wet tents, got right in the warm trucks, cranked the heaters, and hit the road. Living in Colorado, we have lots of awesome scenery and incredible mountains, but the Ozarks really still take my breath away. It's no wonder I get so excited and keep coming back here to explore year after year. Just after the car wash, we stopped, and as John walked past one of the tires on his 4Runner, he heard the familiar hiss of a puncture. He usually has some sort of tire-related issue each trip, and it's honestly part of the tradition at this point. The guys jumped straight onto the tools, the tire was quickly plugged, aired back up, and we were ready to hit the trails again. This is the part of the morning where I know John was thinking about an obstacle not far from here, where last year we all got stuck. We ended up covered in clay to our knees and digging and winching for an hour to get the rigs through. This year, however, the road was in quite good shape, and there nearly wasn't an obstacle here at all. After some minor technical issues with the old untested 4Runner, we managed to make it to Pilot Knob for a quick lunch and some absolutely stunning scenery. We left our lunch spot realizing that we were all pretty low on fuel and headed into what I can only describe as town to grab some fuel before heading back out on the trail and getting into the thick of the water crossings for the day. The turquoise color of the water in these water crossings still blows me away every time I see it. The pictures and video of these rivers and creeks just don't do them justice. You really have to see them for yourselves to believe it. I nearly always have the oldest and the cheapest of the trucks, and we've made a habit of punting my rig through some of the more questionable sections of trail first. In this particular instance, I certainly picked the harder line, but the old rig still sounds great bouncing off the rev limiter. After watching that heroic display, the guys found a much more sensible option for the other two rigs, and were able to skirt around to the outside of the longer bog hole. One last water crossing before we pull into camp, and it was blocked by a downed tree. We were able to move it by hand and save some of the drier pieces of wood for our fire tonight. I think one of my favorite things about camping is having a great campfire. This kind of winter camping was really awesome since the weather was very mild during the days, but the campfire was primary in the evenings. The past few years in Colorado, we've had so many fire bans due to wildfires that it really seems like a luxury to have a big warm campfire. It was a great spot to drink beers and eat expertly crafted chicken fajitas with friends, family, and my favorite dog. Another chilly morning in the Ozarks, and I started the same way. Some oatmeal, some coffee, pack up the still frozen tent, and drop right back into the water crossings for my last day here this trip. We get into an area with some short but quite deep creek crossings and end up calling it for safety's sake. Brandon's FJ does not have a snorkel, and his air intake had been underwater on one previous crossing. For us, at this time, it simply wasn't worth the risk to continue. We arrived at a T in the road. For us, this marks the end of our convoy. The Forerunner and the FJ are going to keep going for the day and explore some new areas. For me, though, it's time to air up my tires and start my journey back to Colorado. My Forerunner shakedown trip was a success, I'd say. It was incredible to see the scenery, visit with these humans that bring me so much joy, to see family, and to visit a place that will forever be home to me.